What makes COTA the premier organization providing fundraising assistance and support to families facing a life-saving transplant? There are thousands of reasons, and they're scattered all over the 50 states. It's families like Heidi and Garrett Hummel, whose son Calvin needed a kidney, or the Vargas family whose daughter Rosalina received a liver transplant. In hundreds of cases this year, and thousands throughout our history, COTA was there to give hope. Right now, I want you to meet a family that typifies how COTA meets a critical need for those on a lifetime transplant journey. Meet Dylan McQueen of Phoenix. Shortly after birth, Dylan was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. As a result, the McQueens faced a daunting series of challenges.
We had a nurse practitioner come in, a transplant coordinator, and talk to us about the possibility of having a transplant. With cardiomyopathy, a third get better, a third stay the same, and a third decline. We thought for a while his would be the third to get better. 6 months into it, they sat us down and had a talk, and they said it's time for him to get a transplant, but there's not a transplant center here.
At that time, pediatric heart transplants were not performed in Phoenix, so to save Dylan's life, Mom and the kids set up a temporary residence near the Children's Hospital of Dallas Transplant Center as they waited for a new heart. Because of his job, Melissa's husband stayed in Phoenix. Brandon explains the daunting financial challenge facing the family.
So the insurance that we had was not bad, actually. I mean, the insurance is really good in terms of covering most of the medical expenses, but where we had a lot of challenges that, you know, at the time we had our house in Phoenix, but then I had my wife and my kids who were living in Dallas, and we had to get an apartment, which meant rent for the apartment. We had an electric bill for that place. We had a water bill for that place. There was food. So it's essentially like running two different households at once. So it was extremely, you know, for us at the time, that was really expensive, and we didn't have the money.
The McQueen circumstances were not unusual for our transplant families. The combination of dealing with a sick child coupled with severe financial pressure can have a devastating effect on a family.
Had we not had our insurance in COTA, there was no way we could have done that. We even were in the process of selling our house as this was going on because it cost so much. It was such a burden. We knew we were just doing everything we can to get through the medical expenses, to get through life, to just get food on the table, have a roof over our head. There were plenty of times where I thought we might be homeless out there waiting, you know, between hospital visits.
Fortunately, someone in Dallas steered the McQueens to COTA. After they contacted us, we immediately began to work on their behalf. A fundraising team was organized and trained, which allowed them to focus all their energy on Dylan.
And they helped pay for the rent, they paid for the electric, they gave us a food allowance, which was, you know, plenty enough to like eat on every single day. So really, I mean, without COTA, I don't know how we would have done it. I really don't. I mean, I was debating a lot of scary options as to how we were going to pay, you know, for two different places, and you know, it was like, well, we only pay for one, so COTA stepped in and basically alleviated that burden for our family so that we could focus on Dylan and getting Dylan better.
Although the financial piece of the puzzle was addressed, Dylan's medical situation would get worse before it got better.
We went back and forth from the ICU to the floor for a long time as we watched him get sicker and sicker to the point where they ordered a Berlin heart, a mechanical assist device. And 3 days before he was about to have that device put in, we got the call at 3 o'clock in the morning, January 13th, 2009, that he had a heart. He was going to be given his gift of life. My first call was to my husband. I said, get on the first flight out of Phoenix, and he did that. I waited with my family in the waiting room for Dylan. It was a perfect procedure. The transplant went perfectly.
With their son's new heart in place, the McQueens were eventually able to move back to Phoenix, where they resumed their lives. As a result of great medical care, a priceless gift from a donor family, and an assist from COTA, the story has a great ending.
He is doing fantastic. He is like any other 9-year-old now. He just turned 9. He's in school, he's doing great. He has friends, he's playing sports, he wrestles. I wouldn't have thought that possible. I didn't know if he'd make it past, kindergarten before all of this, but now he's doing amazing. He's a perfectly healthy boy.